Good morning, Sam. It is Thursday, October 28th, 2021. Welcome back to day 4 of Recommendations Week. Today, I want to recommend some of my favorite books. Now, I'm going to set this down for a second just so you don't get a headache. Now, my favorite book of all time is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I think it's one of the greatest expressions of what it means to be a person, and especially what it means to be a person during a revolution, which I think is potentially applicable to more times than just the French Revolution where it takes place. It's about poverty, and it's about wealth, and it's about how people perceive us based on what they know. It's an incredible tale about humanity, love, and deception, and God in this large, ethereal way. It was really, really transformative in my young life. So that is my number one recommendation to everyone always. It's an enormous book. It's probably one of the biggest undertakings I ever took. I listened to it on an audiobook, and it was 64 hours. 64 hours! I recommend listening to it as well. The other book that I would really, really recommend is a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers is a book about the things that exist outside of the sphere of what we consider to be normal and how those things change what normality is. It is an extraordinary, easy, and compelling read, and also very, very entertaining. Outliers is a page turner because you're always learning new information about the world around you, and it's not constructed in a way that's tough to understand or complicated, but it is about big, complicated, exciting things. So my big 2 recommendations are Les Miserables and Outliers. But I wanted to take it further than this in this video. And so I decided to go to the student union and ask some other Denisonians what their favorite books were.
Okay, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good book. Okay. However, it hits all of the points for me that I really enjoy, which is interesting world building, runic languages, magic. So it's called The Black Witch Chronicles. It was written by someone who was a dentist for the majority of her life.
So one of my favorite books is The Underneath by Kathy Iqbal, and it's so sad and so sweet. It follows the story of these 2 little kittens that are raised by a bloodhound, and they're living out in a bayou, and it's an interesting mix of stories, and it's so sad. It makes me cry every time. And then my other favorite would probably have to be Emma by Jane Austen. I love Emma's character development, and I also love the sass that Mr. Knightley has, and I just love their dynamic, and it makes me so happy.
My Father's Dragon, just it's a kid's book, but I've read all 3 of them 20 times. It's fantastic. And it's super easy to read, so if you feeling low on mental capabilities, it's perfect.
I don't really read, but as a kid, my thing was, I wasn't a big Harry Potter fan. I just kind of stuck with Greek mythology. So any of the Rick Riordan books, I don't know, it's really easy to just go along with.
I read Persuasion by Jane Austen senior year, and I read Jane Eyre. There are problems with both, but it's just the internal monologue of women. I can't. It's kind of unparalleled. With Persuasion, I know the Pride and Prejudice is the most famous thing, and people love it. And that's fine. She's such an anxious but sweet character that I can't help but love her, and it's a lot of tiny things that happen, but to her they're huge, and you feel that. And then Jane Eyre, kind of similar, very internal life, but again, internal monologue is amazing. Yeah, those are my 2. I can't look at a camera.
Sorry if that audio was a little bit hard to hear. Thank you everyone for participating in this video. Sam, I'll see you tomorrow.
Ernestine Bears, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently more recently they've gotten pretty religious, but prior to that it was great. It was solid. Yeah, it was solid.